It's time for our Friday Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about 8 things that emotionally intelligent people never do. Emotional intelligence, or EI, is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and those are the people around you. Just high level definition in case you didn't know. So, in life, emotions can be like winds that blow us off track of our path of achieving whatever it is we're trying to accomplish. That's why, of all the life skills that a person can possess, EI is the most important as mental intelligence when it comes to being successful. If you're going to be successful, you got to be able to navigate EI. So here are 8 things that you need to keep in mind that emotionally intelligent people do not do. Their emotional base is not external. One key to EI, emotional intelligence, is understanding that your feelings are not someone else's fault. They're your own fault. You can expect people to always know how you will emotionally react to something, or for them to even care for that matter. You just can't expect people to know how you're going to react or how you feel. An action by someone else may make you feel a way that you did not intend, or that they did not intend. So you have to realize that it's your responsibility to handle the emotional response correctly. I often find myself telling my kids, no one can make you feel that in a way. No one can make you do certain things. You have to make those decisions to choose to feel that way or to choose to do something. All right, let's go to number 2. They make no assumptions about happiness or what creates it. The funny thing about happiness is that happiness is an infinite value. When we think about happiness, we're related to experiences in our past, but that doesn't mean that we can't achieve a level of happiness greater than anything we've ever known before. Therefore, emotional intelligent people understand that moving forward and experiencing new things is the only way to achieve anything that resembles true happiness. All right, let's go to number 3. They understand that fear is a normal emotion to new things. Fear, for the most part, in new experiences is totally normal. People are often way too quick to assume that just because something scares you, that means it's bad. That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of people who make big changes in their lives, physical and emotional changes, that are awesome, that are amazing changes, that are, so healthy for them and so good for them. People are often way too quick to assume just because something scares you that it's bad. Being reckless and being fearless are two totally different things. Fear is just a way for your mind to make you consider what you're about to do and keep it in check. Where if you're reckless, that's careless and dangerous. Right? You don't want to do that, right? But you should be fearless. You should live a little. You should try new things. They're going to help you feel good. All right, how about number 4? They understand that emotions are reactions and not reality. Understanding that how you feel is not the defining characteristic of a situation is probably the most important aspect of emotional intelligence. It is also the hardest to realize in the heat of the moment. Understanding that your emotions are what they are for a reason that is specific to you is so important. It reminds me of the movie Inside Out or Inside Out 2. You need to understand your emotions and understand what triggers make you feel certain ways so that you can adjust around those triggers and course correct when you need to. All right, let's go to number 5. They don't assume that a bad feeling leads to a bad life. One very obvious sign of high emotional intelligence is understanding that we can't all be happy all the time. Just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean that your life is falling apart. It means that a certain number of factors have conspired together to make you feel like you're having a bad day. Happiness is a choice, but that doesn't mean we have to choose to be happy every time. It's okay for us to not be happy for a day. It's okay for us to have an emotional low day or a down day. In fact, as scary as it sounds, I almost encourage people to have a down day from time to time. And the reason for it is simple. Oftentimes when you have one of these emotional down days, it makes the emotional up days so much more rewarding and so much more gratifying because you know what's coming and you're like, yeah, that's an emotional high and that's where I need to be. So I'm going to say one more time the key here. Happiness is a choice, but it doesn't mean that we have to choose happiness every time. Happiness can be there, but you've got to search for it and you got to dig. And sometimes happiness is hard. You got to figure out when and where it's appropriate. Okay. They don't befriend easily. One of the most important things in life is who you choose to surround yourself with. Being aware of how other people make you feel and why it is critical to making good choices when it comes to friends. Again, much like all aspects of EI, this isn't something that happens overnight. You You hear people who have strong emotional intelligence say, I have many acquaintances, but only a handful of friends. That's a commonality amongst people who have high emotional intelligence. Okay, they don't associate composure with emotional intelligence. This is number 7. Just because you're emotionally intelligent, that doesn't mean that you don't occasionally lose it. We all do. Being emotionally intelligent doesn't mean you're an emotionless robot. It just means that you know how you feel, why you feel the way that you feel, and you have the power and authority to deal with it accordingly. You can still be composed and not emotionally intelligent. You can also be emotionally intelligent, not fully composed. It's okay. You don't have to have one marry the other. It's okay to have the separation sometimes. And most of the time, you'll find that you are composed when you're emotionally intelligent. And finally, they choose their own thoughts. Emotionally intelligent people are sometimes seen as stubborn. Sounds like somebody I know. This is because they own their thoughts and their emotions equally. With a deep understanding of how others influence their emotion, it's not as much stubborn as it is picky about what they feel and what they think. And I find myself often saying, I am picky about how I feel, or I'm picky about what I choose, or I'm picky about my path. And I think that it comes with a well-deserved, conscious check that you can be choosy and you can choose your own thoughts and you can be picky, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing, and I think that we need to learn to deal with that. So if you can understand these 8 principles, I really do believe that it can train you or help you better understand how to be better at emotional intelligence. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a great weekend. And until next time, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.